Hey everybody, Raven here. Today I want to share with you a really cool recent pickup of a small Aircoin collection that I was able to get my hands on. There's some really unique and cool stuff in this group. We have some domestic and foreign airs as well coming out of Peru and Mexico. So we're going to share these with you. Some of them are just really, really interesting, and others are kind of common, like off strikes. But here's the thing, they're all worth money. And so the first one we're going to start off with is a 2007 Philly off strike air, as you can see right there, right at the top of Roosevelt's head. There's quite a bit of space in between, and that is a pretty neat little error to find. Now, you want it sometimes to be a little bit more drastic. The more drastic it is, the more it's worth. But you also want to keep in mind that having the date on the coin is very important. It helps for knowing what the population of heirs are in that coin, and also, help you determine a value of said coin. Now, this also looks like it might have a little bit of doubling that I didn't catch before on the one and the dime. I see on the E's, it looks pretty interesting, but so far we know for sure that that's an off-center strike. Next item coming up is a pretty cool, this is a doubled date on the reverse, so we'll show you that it's a 1943 Merc dime from San Francisco. You flip it over, and right there you can see the S mint mark. It's really, really cool. Right there has been doubled, and a really cool find, S over S. And I wish the condition was a little bit better, but hey, it is still a really cool coin and worth quite a bit of money in this era, probably about 45 bucks or so. Um, but still a really cool coin. Next one up, this is a Roosevelt dime that has what they call a broad struck partial brockage right there. This one is silver. So you see it says 19XX and it has the D because when you flip it over, it does have the Denver Mint mark, and it is silver. It's a really cool find. And as you can see, at some point, somebody got their fingerprint on here. But that right there, that's what they call a brockage, and is like a kind of a precursor to what would be a clip planchet. This is basically when the planchet doesn't get pushed all the way through, and it's a pretty neat because when you flip it over, it looks just normal. There's no issues on the reverse. So that is one heck of a cool find there. I'm going to say one heck of a cool find through pretty much every coin we have here, but hey, what do you do, right? All right, next up is a 1997 Philly. Now look at how drastic this one is off center. That is really, really cool. You have the date and everything there. The coin is in relatively nice condition. It looks like, it's got some scratches, little scratches on his cheek, and a little, this line here is kind of a bummer to the coin, but still a pretty neat find and adds value to what it is. This would be worth probably about 20 bucks or so in this condition, maybe a little bit more, depends on who wants to purchase it. But you can see how much that is off struck, or what they call a broad strike. Very, very cool Roosevelt dime there. Next one we have coming up is really epic. This thing is a lamination error on a wheat cent, and it looks like it could be from the 30s or the 50s. I don't know 100%, but you can see where the coin is literally delaminated right there. That little piece is down here covering up the date, and you can see all through the penny that there is some cracking going on and whatnot. Just a very, very neat find. The Liberty looks like it has a little bit of doubling possibly to it as well. But it does have some PVC green stuff going on, which is kind of a bummer, but it doesn't take away from how cool of a find this is. And the reverse is actually pretty nice, but you see some some lamination issues going on in the wheat stock as well, right over here. So that is pretty neat. Always like to find some cool, unique stuff. Next one is a 1952 Denver. This has two different airs going on. It's got a small clip in the planchet, and it's extremely off-struck. Let me show you right here what I'm talking about. So the clip in the planchet's right there, really small, really slight, but still there. And looks like in the scope, it looks like there's a little doubling going on the 2 there and the 5. But look at how drastic that thing really is, and has the date, and makes this a really, really cool coin. This one is worth quite a bit. I would say a good, 75 bucks, maybe even more. It really, with air coins, the thing is it really depends on the collector that's buying the coin and what people are willing to pay for them. Some airs are really established and worth quite a bit. Like this next one coming up, somebody would call this a variety. The D over D's, like repunch mint marks and stuff, more, they call it more of a variety, but it's also, varieties and airs are kind of in the same categories. Varieties are, recognized a certain way. Airs are a little bit more drastic. Now this one, you can see the D on Denver right here on the Buffalo is doubled. You can see how thick it is out there. And let's see if we can get this to focus in a little bit. Here we have the invisible scope working hard. So you can see right there how there's a really, really thick extra D. When you look at this under a loop, it really, really stands out. And this is a really cool coin to have. The D over D air in the 38 is well known. And this one is a brilliant uncirculated coin. Would probably bring close to $100 and something, maybe 110 if it was graded high enough. That really depends on the grade for that. All right, this next one is out of Peru, which really kind of surprised me. This is a 1976, and that is off-struck, off-center strike, or what they would call also a broad strike. And there's the reverse. Very, very obvious. It looks like a crescent moon, and that thing is pretty sweet. Really, really happy to get my hands on that. This next one, though, this one might be the most valuable coin out of the whole thing here, because this is a 1970 Lincoln cent, memorial cent, and it looks like it's been struck on a dime planchet. It weighs 2.3 grams. And, dime planchets are 2.5. It could also be a foreign coin planchet air where, the United States did a lot of minting for countries like the Philippines and Panama and Australia and whatnot. So there's a possibility that this could be a foreign planchet air, but either way, it is definitely on a, nickel plated kind of planchet. As far as dimes and quarters and whatnot, they have that iconic silverish look to them, just like this penny does here. And the fact that it weighs 2.3, it should weigh 3.1, for those of you that didn't know. And so that one I need to do a little bit more research on. I'm gonna take it to the show and have a couple dealers look at it and see what they think. But really, really cool coin, worth quite a bit. So this next one is from 1981. It's from Mexico. It's 20 pesos. It is struck as well. And like I said, that's kind of one of the more common things that happens with coins. But when you find them like this, the cool thing is when they have the actual date still on them. Now this has a couple scratches across the back, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is still a really cool thing. You don't see, or I don't see, a lot of foreign air coins out there, but I do have some in today's example. Now this one is going to be a little bit more difficult to see because it's not on the front of the coin. It's actually on the rim. And let me see if I can turn this up. So there's supposed to be lettering on the edge there. And let me get that to focus a little better. And you can see there's a line that goes through the center and it's missing a good amount of the lettering. So this coin is one of those ones where it would have gotten through inspection and stuff, because most people, they kind of tend to forget about the edge and the edge lettering, but this one is pretty darn neat. Check that out. And that's a 1 ounce silver Libertad with an air. All right, next coin coming up. Let me refocus the scope again. We have another one out of Mexico, but this one has been graded. This one is a Mint Air, 1980, 10 pesos, 10% off center. Very, very cool coin. And we'll turn it over. And you see there the iconic eagle and on the cactus eating the snake. Very, very neat. All right, last two coins coming up. We have a PCS slabbed and certified 45% off center, 1990, so it has the date. And that is a really cool zinc air. That coin is easily worth quite a bit. Probably somewhere into the $60, $70 to $100 range. It really just depends. But since it is graded and it's an MS64 red, that is pretty epic. All right, last but not least, we have another broad strike with a partial brockage right here. 1999. You can see when they say broad strike, they mean that off center, that spacing right there. And the brockage is this dip in the coin where, like I said before, if it had gone all the way through, it would have been a drastic clip Planchet, but it didn't. It just kind of scooped it, it went down and went like that. So very, very cool. I'm very excited about having these coins in my deep stack. You never know, I might sell some at a auction or a local show, but I wanted to share these with you because you just don't see these every day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to correspond, it's ravenhawkcoins@gmail.com. Our P.O. Box is 721-296, Norman, Oklahoma, 73070. Like always, please make sure to take care of one another. We'll see you real soon. Raven Hawk Coins, have a great day.